Morning, guys. Good morning. It is Sunday. I'm feeling good this morning. Feeling good. We're going to make some money today. Going to be on the right side of these games. Got a great feeling about a couple of these games. So I'm going to go through all that here in a minute. The Colorado game last night was utterly ridiculous. If you watch, I guess if you watch a lot of college football, you look forward to watching the NFL on Sunday because it's completely, I mean, man, that Colorado State game last night is impossible to watch, impossible, just penalty after penalty. I know Colorado blew them out, but I'm telling you, Colorado State, if you didn't see it, they kept giving Colorado break after break just by committing 15-yard stupid penalty after stupid penalty. Anyway, I'm glad their total stayed under, even though they tried scoring at the end, which is just, it makes absolutely no sense. Just to go through it real quick and I'll get to the NFL, there's no time. Like Colorado State was not calling a timeout. Colorado had the ball. It's 28-9. They could have just ran it, take a knee. Instead, Deion's calling for bombs. They're trying to throw a touchdown. After the game, he won't even own what he's doing. Tries to make up some BS excuse. They are so hard to root for, Colorado. Can't wait to bet on Baylor, breaking all college football rules to just bet against Colorado for the rest of the season. So I'm kind of glad they won yesterday because I'll bet more money on Baylor next week. Split the bets yesterday because the under went, and it was actually plus money to take that under 33 and a half. So that hit. But yeah, they just don't that anyway. I just think Colorado State beat themselves yesterday more than Colorado beat them. But Shador and Hunter did look good. Got to give them that, but I don't think they'll look good next week against Baylor. So anyway, Orioles, real quick. If you didn't see the game yesterday, Dominguez is trying to give everybody a heart attack. Coolum is going to come back. I think he's going to come back on Tuesday. They reactivated Jacob Webb this morning. He's back. Irvin's gone. I don't know if that's permanent or not, but Webb's in. Irvin's gone. Coolum's going to come back on Tuesday, is my gut. He's got to be the closer. If we're going to win this World Series, it can't be Dominguez as the closer. I mean, it's just too much. Thank God we won yesterday. I felt for Hyde. I'm sure every Orioles fan is like, do we bring in Soto right now as the lefty to face whoever that guy was for the Tigers that we ended up getting out? It's like, no, I don't want to bring him in. But Dominguez just getting rocked, turns 4-0 in the 4-2. Thank God Gunnar hit his 2-run homer for the insurance runs. But yeah, Webb's back. That's good news. And I think Coleman's going to come back on Tuesday. It'd be interesting who they get rid of. Like I said, they got rid of Irvin today. There's a couple different options. I prefer they get rid of Kimbrel. My gut tells me they won't. I'm thinking Birch Smith is the odd man out, considering they got rid of Irvin. I don't think they'll get rid of Aiken. And then Trevor Rogers is looming. Whether or not they want to give him one more shot, he's had three great starts. I don't know about great, three quality starts. Pretty good though. 7 innings last time out. We'll see. Povich, I'm assuming. God, I hope he pitches well this morning. But yeah, this is basically like another tryout. If he pitches well, he'll get another start. If not, they'll either go to Rogers or they can let Irvin come up and take that start on his next time around. So big start today for Povich. Webb gets to come back. That's exciting. But the most exciting thing in Orioles news, and then I promise going through all these NFL games, but Kjerstad's back today. Feels like I've been in a rut ever since Kjerstad's been in a rut. The Orioles have been in a rut ever since the Yankees threw the ball at his head. He's back. I pray that Hyde puts him in the lineup. They got rid of Matone. Big decisions are coming. That was the easy decision. Now that Kjerstad's back, Arias / Westberg, they should be back hopefully within a week. And then it's Soto, Rivera, and Holiday. Decisions have to be made. As you can see, Holiday's not playing every day. He's just not hitting the ball well. They had Soto in there yesterday. Soto played great defense, turned a couple double plays. Rivera's been, I don't think Rivera's going anywhere. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough decisions. Most likely it's Soto, as one of them. But if they don't want to get rid of Rivera, they could get rid of Jackson. I doubt it. Maybe they just get rid of Rivera or Jimenez. We'll see. But Kjerstad's got to be in the lineup today. They need a punch. I'm happy he's back. Excuse me. We definitely need we obviously, right? We need to hit the ball here. So him coming back is good news. The Yankees found a way to lose yesterday. That's good news. So it's only 2 games back. They play at 12. I guess they're doing us a favor again. That's the second straight week where we're the early game, get a head start before the Ravens. So looking forward to talking Orioles tomorrow. All right, let's go through all the games. First thing I'm going to do here with all the games is stay away, and if it's stay away, I'll give a couple minutes or two, and then we'll move to the bets that I really like. So just going to go in order of how it's listed here. Chargers Panthers ultimate stay away. I'm not betting the Panthers ever again. But I know if I bet against them, that'll be the week they win. So I cannot explain what happened last week for the millionth time. The Chargers are fascinating to me because they played exactly the way I thought they would play last week. Um, and I think they'll do the same thing here. But to me, the line is really right there, 5.5, 6. If you're going to take the Chargers today, do yourself a favor and put them in a teaser or take the money line. They're not going to try to blow out the Panthers. They're going to just run the football, try to get comfortable, make sure they win the game. I like the Chargers to win, but I would stay away from betting that game. Saints Cowboys, I think I feel the same way. I mean, I don't want to dig into my position here against the Saints, but I don't like the Saints team at all. Not really in love with the Cowboys. I was really surprised, frankly, that the Cowboys dominated Cleveland the way they did. I mean, that was maybe the most surprising performance of the entire weekend. Just absolutely dominated them. Now they're home. The Saints are feeling good. The Cowboys should win. I'm staying away from it. If I had to bet the game, I would do the same thing that I'm doing with the Charger, or that I suggest with the Chargers. Just don't give the points here. The Saints do match up pretty good with Dallas as far as being able to get a pass rush on the Cowboys. We'll see if their offensive line can hold up. If it can't, and the Saints can get some pressure, it will be close all the way through. I just don't like the Saints this year. So it wouldn't shock me if the Cowboys spanked them and Carr throws a bunch of picks. Next game, this number, God, this game bothers me. I'm staying away from it, but the Lions Bucks, just because of what happened last week, the Rams, I mean, they had the game covered, and then to lose in overtime like that is just sickening. But 7.5, I've seen 8 this morning here against Tampa. I like Tampa this year. I like Tampa, period. They played well against Washington. I think this number's inflated. However, after watching the Lions game, I was pretty impressed with the Lions defense. Their secondaries improved. There was a couple of, nuanced things that Collinsworth was pointing out during the game that I was like, man, the Rams are having to work for everything. And the Rams offense is really dynamic and they couldn't score a lot of points. I know Puka got hurt. The reason why this number so high is the Bucks have a hard time playing from behind. I'm going to ultimately stay away from this game. The Bucks have to score first. The Bucks have got to get a lead. It wouldn't. I lean towards Tampa here, but I'm ultimately staying away because I feel like the number is high for a reason. The Bucks were competitive last year. You would think this number would be closer to 4.5 or 5, maybe 6 at the most, but all the way up to 7.5. Like I said, 8 this morning in some places. I'm having a hard time figuring that out. I just think that Tampa doesn't really match up great with Detroit. Tampa wants to be able to get off the field if they're down, control the clock like they did against Washington. Tough place to play. We'll see how it holds up here for the Bucks, but I'm going to stay away from it. All right, so this is the first game I really like. It's going to be the Colts. We're just getting great value. Sometimes you don't want to overthink things here, and because the Colts lost last week, we're just getting better value. If the Colts would have pulled that game out, I think this number would be closer to 4.5. Ultimately, I'm just going to bet the money line -140, -145 is not the end of the world. If you're going to do the parlays, just keep it in there with the money line. It's the Colts -2.5 against the Packers. I think they'll blow them out. I don't think this game's going to be very competitive, but it's a situation where they could be up 9 points, giving up a touchdown at the end. Just too many weird things happen. And I'm just not, I'd rather just pay the juice. Even though I'd like the Colts to win fairly easily, I'd rather pay the juice just in case for insurance, in case there's a backdoor, cover. But let's just go through this and why the Colts are the why I think the Colts are the easy win today. The Packers are starting Malik Willis. that's pretty much the end of that. Like it's an incredible drop off from Love to Willis. Love wasn't even great last week against Philly. Malik Willis is just not good at all. They're going to try to run Josh Jacobs all night, or excuse me, all day. That's going to be the philosophy, to try to pound it in there, make it simple, try to make this game, close 17-14 type of game. That's how the Packers are going to try to play it. But they don't have the defense to be able to hold up to stop the Colts. I think the Colts will be able to score, and the Packers will play from behind. And the Colts defensive line is where their strength is. It's the secondary where you can beat the Colts, is how the Texans did last week, is if you can spread them out, get some big plays down the field, but the Packers won't be able to do that. So 2.5 seems like a gift. The Colts are my favorite game of the day as far as just them winning. But if you don't want to bet money line, you have to give the spread. You may as well just do it. But Colts, just a really good team. That Texans game last week was a competitive game. Texans are really, really, really good. Love the Colts today. That's going to be one of my top plays. The next game feels a little too easy, so I'm staying away from it. Plus, I like the Browns before the season. Hard to like the Browns after last week. But again, you don't want to overreact to week one. There's certain teams where, some things can happen. They get from behind. One thing can lead to another. Is that the case with Cleveland? They have such a good roster. And this Jacksonville team, so it's Cleveland at Jacksonville. Jacksonville just finds ways to lose. And I don't trust Jacksonville late in the game. And this defense for Cleveland's really, really good. I know most people want to take the Jaguars. They had the Dolphins on the ropes. It was 17-7 last week. Then they got the touchdown right there at the goal line. They fumble it. Dolphins come back and they win the game 2017. Bad juju here for the Jaguars. Wouldn't shock me if Cleveland plays better away from their home crowd. They just got from behind yesterday or last week. Something just feels off with this game. Jaguars are -3. I'm staying away, but in the pool that I do, I will take the Browns plus the 3. If you made me bet on the game, if you do love the Jaguars, trust me, take the money line here. They're just weird at the end of the game, but Cleveland's not necessarily Tom Brady at the end of the game. So tough game. We'll see, but I like the Browns roster better. I'm going to lean towards Cleveland. This is the next game I like. The spread, I wish I would have gotten this at, I think it was 6 earlier in the week. Can still bump it up. I think if I wait closer to game time, it'll continue to go up. We'll see. But I do like the Vikings today. The Vikings are 5.5. You can buy it up to 6. That would be my recommendation, or put it in a teaser. The Vikings are the home dog against the 49ers. Really, everything works in the right direction here from Minnesota. It's just a timing play. They could be playing this game in week 8, week 9, week 10, and the Niners could win this game by 3 touchdowns, and it wouldn't surprise me. But it's a home opener for Vikings. They dominated last week, so they're all vibes are great in Minnesota. And it's a short week for San Francisco, and they got to go across the country. And they spent all that offseason preparing for Aaron Rodgers. They treated that game. It was really intense. I give them a lot of credit. They came out, they played well, but there was a couple things I saw in there where I'm like, you know what, the offense is just, it's not really dynamic. They were able to run the ball. That's fine. But the Jets run defense, I'm not high on that. I think the Vikings run defense is going to be really solid. It's going to be loud. I expect a couple penalties for San Francisco playing behind the sticks. Feels like one of those games that comes down to the wire. And on the other side of the ball, I'm not saying Sam Darnold's going, winning the MVP, but he looked pretty damn good last week. Very efficient. O'Connell is, one of the top play callers in the entire league. The Vikings head coach, he does a great job. He's maximized. I mean, you saw how bad Cousins looked with the Falcons. I think the Vikings are going to be able to hang with them. I would actually, if you told me I had to bet who's going to win the game, I would probably lean towards the Vikings. So I'll take the points for sure. But yeah, I think the Vikings are going to win this game. Next game is, I feel on par with this game as I do with the Colts. It's the two teams I like before the season, right? Like the Colts before the season, and I like the Seahawks. And now we're getting really good value at New England. We're getting great value for 2 reasons. One, the Seahawks star running back Kenneth Walker's not going to play, which is a big loss, but not as big as you would think. And the reason is New England's going to stuff the run pretty good regardless. This is a game where you're betting on the Patriots not to score. The big bet will be I know I lost this last week with the under with Denver's points, but I'm taking the under with the Patriots points today, and I'll take the Seahawks. Same thing as the Colts. I'll take them on the money line, pay the juice. I do think they'll cover the three without a problem, but the Seahawks are going to spread it out to start against New England, try to get a couple quick plays, challenge the middle of the field, the safeties. New England's defense looked really good last week, but it was against a Cincinnati offense that had no juice. So not having the running back Walker probably cost them a point here on the spread. Their backup running backs aren't great. I'm not saying they are, but at the same time, I think Geno is going to be efficient. There's a lot of weapons for the Seahawks. And as long as they get the lead, it's really the defense you're betting on today. It's the fact that New England's not going to be able to score, handful of turnovers. That Seahawks defense, I've been all over them from the beginning with McDonald. They're going to be great. They were really good last week against Denver. I think they'll be even better. They dropped a turnover. Nix was able to scramble in ways that Brissett will not be able to. So yeah, I really like the Seahawks. Seahawks, Colts, Vikings so far my three. This one I want to take the Titans. Oh God, I don't know if I'm going to. I'm gonna take the Titans. Oh Lord, I cannot believe they didn't cover last week. But this Jets team just feels out of whack. Maybe the Jets turn it on a little late in the season and maybe they make a run, win in the middle of the year. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I didn't like what I saw last week. I didn't like their defense just doesn't seem great. It's a home opener for the Titans. I definitely wouldn't bet the Jets. I would lean towards Tennessee to take the 4 points because Lord knows they can screw it up at the end. But it also wouldn't shock me if the Titans won by 2 touchdowns. They were up 17-0 last week. This defense is really good. Like really, really good. The Will Levis is just horrible. I don't know if that's going to continue. I obviously had the Titans to make the playoffs. It was really a gut punch to see the way they finished that game. I lean Titans here, not as strong as the other three bets, but most likely is going to be a bet today. Commanders Giants is a they're like telling I don't want to say they're telling you, but who wants to bet the Giants, right? So the Commanders are only 1 point favorites, but if you dive deep into these numbers, so it's ultimately a stay away for me. I want the Commanders to win. That was my NFC East preseason bet. The Giants Joe match up well with the Commanders. So Daniel Jones is 5-1 I believe, is the record against the Commanders in his career. The Giants benefit from not playing in New York this game. The game's in Washington, but it probably benefits the Giants because their home crowd is. I mean, what they did last week was just embarrassing. Like they get destroyed by the Vikings. The crowd's just over it. Daniel Jones looks scared. There's quotes after the game by some of the Vikings defensive players. And you just don't hear this in the NFL. Like felt bad for Daniel Jones. And I was like, man, that's a whew. But at the same time, it's only a 1 point favorite. And Washington, they had garbage time points against Tampa. I knew that was going to be a tough game for them. My gut tells me Washington wins, but the line and the fact that the Giants' defensive front might be able to get after Daniels, that's for some turnovers. It feels like an ugly game. A lot of random things happen. I'm just going to stay away from it. Those are the 1 o'clock games besides the Ravens that we talked about. This Ravens game is going to make me anxious. It's going to make everybody anxious. That's just what they do. Kind of a nostalgic throwback because they played the Raiders to start the '96 campaign in their first ever home game. I don't think I went to the game. I think I went Saturday night to the Harbor. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm almost positive that's what I did. Guess I was 8. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. Getting the Raiders back at home. This Raiders team, like I talked about earlier in the week, the vibes are off with them because Pierce took the ball out of their hands as they were trying to win the game last week. The Ravens just got to get the lead, grind the game out, even if it's just 6-0, 6-3. Just don't let the Raiders get going. Eventually, they'll turn the ball over. Feels like how it should happen last year when they beat the Texans, where it was a little bit of an ugly game, but the Texans couldn't move the ball. I expect that, but at the same time, Gardner Minshew is dicey. You don't want a situation where it's close in the fourth quarter and the Raiders are playing with nothing to lose. Lamar's got to protect the ball. The Raiders' defensive line is fantastic. So we shall see. Looking forward to it. The 4 o'clock games, the first one's to stay away. The Rams, Cardinals. Both teams feel like they should have won last week. The Cardinals home opener, Rams are really beat up. Rams were my pick to be the 1 seed. That was before Puka got hurt, and now I'm just I got to see it. I got to see them win this game. If they lose this game, it's big trouble for the Rams. The Cardinals, they were playing with Buffalo. I mean, their loss to Buffalo looks even better the way Buffalo dismantled Miami, especially defensively. Tough game. I'm curious to see. I didn't really have a strong opinion on the Cardinals before the year. If you told me Puka was healthy, I'd say too much offense for the Rams. Without him, they're going to have to really rely on Cup. The offensive line's beat up. I lean Rams. I lean Rams, but I'm down on them after what happened last week. And again, the line's making it very easy to take them, so I'm going to stay away from that. The Steelers, Broncos. Oh God, stupid Steelers like that. I mean, TJ Watt, it's like he's the best player in the NFL last week. I mean, he completely ruined that game. Most Ravens fans probably watched it. Um, he was so good. The defense was so good. Falcons looked terrible. I thought this is the year the Steelers implode. Still holding out hope. This Denver team, I'm not really high on, but I do admit them hanging and coming back against Seattle showed me a lot. Surprised that the Steelers are 2.5 point favorites. Feels like this game could go either way. I want to root for Denver. I'm going to root for Denver, but that Pittsburgh defense was ridiculous last week. Absolutely ridiculous. Going to root for Denver, but going to stay away from it. I'll pay the points to take the Chiefs. I like just putting the Chiefs in the teaser. That's probably on par with what I like with the Titans, maybe a little bit more with the Chiefs, but I'm down on this Bengals team. I think they get their ass absolutely handed to them. I cannot believe they lost last week to New England. If you watched any of that game, it's like New England's trying to give the game away. Like they're just running the ball up the middle. They can't score. Bengals are at home, and the Bengals are doing everything they can to lose. Turning the ball over on the goal line. Burrow just looked no juice whatsoever for the Bengals. I was down on them before the season. I did not, excuse me, have them making the playoffs. It's only 6.5. I think the Chiefs just roll them. I think they do. It would be interesting to see if the Chiefs use these first 2 wins to be overconfident because it's a long season. But yeah, the Ravens are came back. The Ravens are much better than Cincinnati. The Chiefs get the benefit of an extra few days. Andy Reid basically like a bye week. Definitely got to take the Chiefs. Um, yeah, I can't see a game where this is really close. I think the Bengals are going to get to a position where they realize they missed their window. It's like Buffalo, I believe, missed their window, but it feels like the energy is good in Buffalo. Like Allen, everything revolves around Allen. He's healthy, and they're off to a good start. Whereas in Cincinnati, it doesn't quite revolve around Burrow because they were pretty good last year without him. They have these big receivers that want to get paid. It's dicey. The owner's cheap. Now the running game's not as good. The offensive line's beat up. They lost DJ Reader on defense. Just doesn't feel great for Cincinnati. Plus, the defense goes from playing Brissett to Mahomes. So I think the Chiefs roll them. Don't overthink that game. The Sunday night game should be fun. Hard to really analyze that game, to be honest with you, because the Bears. I don't like the Bears at all, but the fact that they came back and won the game, a lot of momentum. Should be really fun to watch. Texans are a big favorite. Probably just staying away from that. We'll see when we get closer to game time. But yeah, I guess that is I believe I went through every game. I hope I didn't miss a game, but I believe I got every game there. Um, yeah, main takeaway. If you are not listening to the whole pod, and I'll have my picks out here in a second, will be Colts, Seahawks. Those were my preseason picks. Doesn't mean I'm going to take them every single week, but I like the value. They're both playing the 2 worst quarterbacks this week, right? Malik Willis and Jacoby Brissett. Daniel Jones is trying to argue with me as I'm saying that out loud. Am I forgetting anybody? I thought Derek Carr was Bryce Young, maybe, but yeah, I mean, I like the value here for the Colts and the Seahawks, and I like the Chiefs, like the Vikings. like the Titans. And I'm going to bet the under also with the Patriots points. Those are what I'm thinking. It's about 10 o'clock. I'll list everything out. And then, yeah, just quick note. This is going to happen. They feel bad. I feel bad. Like Jack and J Mart, if they're going to lose, they're going to lose. Like it's whatever. We don't want to start the season this way, but you know, I'm not going to come on here and defend their picks or say that when they win, we should follow them. I think both of them, if you listen to the pods and the more that they come on, the knowledge is there. Betting games is really hard, as we all know. It's early in the season. So when they have a day like that, um, we acknowledge it. It'll be in the recap. It is what it is. But it's another reminder that no matter how much time you put into this, no matter how much effort you put into it, it's way more fun to listen to a few people and then just bet what you think at the end of the day. There's no secrets. There's no hell. If there was, trust me, I think I would know by now. But yeah, people get hot, people get cold. Hopefully, for your sake, you're on the right side of the games today. Good luck to you. And if there's anything I can do, if there's any help that you need, even if it's small, simple things, I've had people message me. There's no stupid questions. And so nobody sees any of the messages, obviously, if you email me or text me. But if you just don't quite understand how to make a bet or terminology, or you're just not sure about something, if you're new to doing this or whatever, anything, just message me. I should be able to respond pretty right away. So, all right, have a great day. I'll see you guys in the morning.